Hey guys, I'm coming to you live from Bali. We're going to be talking all about what travel has been like and some of the challenges, some of the obstacles, some of the things that you guys need to look out for. That's what I want to make this video about. Before we get into it, I want to let you know you can order a system from me directly, and you can do that for cheaper prices than you can get from Levivid because I have a corporate account with them. So if you do, contact me. Instagram, you can do it on email, any of that stuff. We'll get you a good deal. Anyways, back to the message. So, since I've been out here, there's been a lot of things that are different about the way the world works. Who would have thought, right? You go travel somewhere else, things are different. Some of those are in what's available in terms of the stock. So there's no C22 out here. There's no, Walker tape. There's no, I can't even find cotton balls. I can't find isopropyl alcohol. Like, it's very hard to find this kind of stuff. And maybe it's just like I'm not looking in the right places. Like, they're not in grocery stores. They're not readily available. So I've had to get very, very particular with how I actually like do all the things that I used to do, but in new ways. And some of those tips are really interesting. We'll get into them into a second. Some of the other things is out here, it is constantly like 85, 90 degrees. Now, I lived in Florida in the past, but I don't know. It just feels hotter out here. So the question is, are my bonds lasting longer? Are they lasting shorter? Can you do that kind of stuff here? And then finally, what are some of the factors that like I've been competing against? Now, we're going to kind of work backwards through those back to the original point of like, hey, what are the changes? How do you prepare? So first off, one, I've been riding like a little motorbike, like a little scooter bike around, and it's hot, right? So what does that mean? I'm like sweating and the hair is getting matted and all that kind of stuff inside of the helmet. I'm taking it on and off. One of the biggest factors that I would say, if you're here in Bali, if you're traveling and you're using a scooter bike, is you have to have a brush on you at all times. The first like day or two, I didn't really keep up with it. Like, I would just I would let it be disheveled and stuff. And what I started noticing is, man, my hair got so matted. And it took me like 20 minutes to get all of the kinks and stuff out. It took a while. Now, I carry a brush with me at all times. Because as soon as I get off of the bike, as soon as I get out of the shower, I am constantly making sure that there is no knots, which is a little bit different than what I typically do back home. I only need to do that one maybe like two times a week, maybe, just because there's not as much stress or pressure on the hair. So you have to stay on it in these conditions. Now, one thing that's interesting is that my hair feels a lot better in the humidity. I came from the desert, and now I'm in a tropical climate. So I feel like the hair actually performs better, if that makes sense. It's just not as dry. It's not as arid. So the hair feels better. And that's a common thing, right? Like, especially with those, like with curly hair, know this. When you go to the desert versus when you're in more of a tropical, humid kind of climate, your hair is so different feeling. So that's a little bit of a nuance there. Some of the products out here. Let's talk about that. As I said, I can't even find dish soap. So what I've had to do is adapt all of my techniques that I usually use to what's available to me here. And a lot of that comes down to how to clean systems. And I've had to rely on some of the basics more and more and more. And so because there's no dish soap, right, it's a little bit harder to clean. I can't find cotton balls, so it's a little bit harder to clean. So what am I doing? I have changed that, and this is a massive tip that, hey, if you guys are in America or somewhere that has all this stuff is watching, this is great for you. But you can just use really hot water to get your tape off, to get your adhesive off, the stickiness. Run it under hot water. Just keep running it under hot water. Just keep running it under hot water. And instead of cotton balls, I've tried using tissue paper, or not tissue paper, toilet paper, because it has a little bit more of a grabby quality than paper towels. Paper towels don't seem to work. Tissue paper seems to it rips easy enough that it catches on the adhesive, and when it catches on the adhesive, it's something that you can kind of like pull off, if that makes sense. Versus like paper towels, it just does not seem to pull up the adhesive. So that's really important. I think also too, because there isn't as much dish soap out here, one of the big issues that I've found with cleaning is when the adhesive gets in your natural hair. That's the hardest thing to get out. And dish soap is amazing at that. It just cuts through the grime and the grease and the adhesive. But because it's not out here, I would say change your hair more often. It's one of the biggest pro tips that I've learned over the past couple of years is like instead of going as long as possible and it taking you an hour and a half, 2 hours to clean your hair, all this kind of stuff because it's so messy, do it every 7 days. Do it every 7 days because if you do that, it's not a mess. The tape is still intact, the adhesive's still intact, and it's not leaking everywhere. It's just much cleaner, much simpler to use. All this kind of stuff. So those are some of the biggest differences that I've had out here. Today I'm gonna go surfing. I'm so excited about that, and we're gonna test it in the saltwater. How does it affect the hair? I don't know. I did bring a whole bunch of color, a whole bunch of stuff. You guys saw my bag that I brought. So, we're ready for it, but we're going to start learning. So, guys, I hope you're doing well. I got some like more announcements coming up in terms of like the ordering system stuff to make it easier. And I'm also going to be teaming up with somebody. I don't know if you guys remember Michael Joseph, but he has a channel on YouTube. He actually has one of the largest performing like videos on YouTube when it comes to hair systems. Curse him. No. But he's one of my best friends. We lived in Utah together. I was in his wedding. We obviously both wear systems, but we're actually here in Bali together. How cool. We came to Bali together. And we're going to be teaming up to offer you guys some great stuff at great prices. So a lot of good stuff on the way. Hope you're doing well, and I'll catch you in the next video.